This is not a test. This is the video, and we are talking about the TobyMac album, This Is Not a Test. This is not a test. The follow-up to Eye on It, an album that was pretty successful, but really couldn't prepare TobyMac, I don't think, for the massive success that was this album. So many hits on this thing. Move, Keep Walking, Feel It was on the radio, Love Broke Through. I mean, this thing was kind of designed to get these big radio hits. A lot of this stuff just sounds radio ready, and it sounds quite good if I'm being honest. For this album, TobyMac went in a bit of a funkier direction, kind of going back to that funky Jesus music, that fan favorite track from Tonight, with songs like a Match, Backseat Driver, Feel It, and just in general using a lot of vocals as a kind of like almost as a backing instrument. Just lots of these vocals that you're going to hear in Love Broke Through and just throughout this album to just kind of give it a really hearty kind of feel and give it a little bit more heft and a little bit more power. You also see him kind of divulging a bit, once again experimenting with EDM, with the title track, of course, and then Till the Day I Die, which features NF. Really terrible NF feature, by the way. I mean, he really sounds really corny on the song, and it's just a really corny song in general. Another very funky cut on this album that doesn't really work for me, that I feel like is probably a fan favorite, is Backseat Driver. I mean, just everything about the instrumentation and the vocals and the style, everything about it is just kind of like, it's not something that you hear in modern popular music. Like, I'll give it that, but I don't think it goes over very well. I don't think to me, it just sounds kind of corny, kind of cringe. The lyrics are also kind of cringe about, you want to let Jesus take the wheel. They even say that at one point in the song. The song features the late True, who's featured on like basically all the TobyMac albums. This was the last one that he was featured on, actually. And I just don't care for this track. And the only other track on the album that really doesn't really work for me is the closer. TobyMac has this issue where he kind of has trouble ending an album in a strong way. And he ends this album in the most generic way possible with Undeniable, which just sounds like a really try-hard, like Christian contemporary music worship song. And it's a really bad trend in Christian contemporary music now, with it kind of leaning in the worship music. Not worshipful lyrics, but it is worshipful lyrics, but like worship music infused with Christian contemporary music. And this sounds like an earlier version of that, because that trend has really taken off in the 2020s. But that's what's going on this track, Undeniable. And it honestly doesn't even sound like a TobyMac song. Like, everything else on this album has so much flavor, so much spice, so much color. And this just sounds so bland to me that I don't care for this last track. As for the highlights, basically every other track is a highlight. With its background ohs and frickin' trumpets and like horns and like funky upbeat energy. Like a Match is a great way to kickstart the album. After you get past Backseat Driver, you have This Is Not a Test, which, like the EDM tracks on frickin' Eye on It, it works for me. Like, yes, I'm sure by anyone's standards it's kind of corny, but I don't think the song sounds that bad. It features Capital Kings, which is kind of like Christian Chainsmokers. Like, and that sounds like it's a weird sentence, but like, the band, the Chainsmokers, they kind of infused pop and EDM, like literally, I think in 2013 or 2015, like, when that stuff first started taking off. And I think they did their thing, and I think the song is pretty good. I'm a huge fan of the kind of lo-fi hip-hop vibes. It's not really, I wouldn't really classify the song as lo-fi hip-hop, but you're definitely getting that type of energy with the song Lights Shine Bright, with a really good guest feature from Holland, who was an up-and-coming artist that TobyMac gave a lot of attention to, and he featured her on this album actually twice, went on tour with her and everything. I saw her live with TobyMac, and I don't think she's really taken off like people thought she would. She kind of fuses like pop and Christian and kind of does her own thing, sort of, but also in a mainstream way. It's just, she's whatever as an artist, but she definitely brings a lot to this track. The best way I can describe the song Feel It is like a Christian version of Uptown Funk, and I mean that in the absolute best way possible, because Uptown Funk is a fantastic song. This is a fantastic song. Easily one of TobyMac's best tracks. So much energy. That little outro that they don't play on the radio, like, I'm glad this became a radio hit, because it is an extremely fun song in the vein of Uptown Funk, and it's literally just a blast. Like, it's just so much energy in the instrumentation, so much energy on the performances. This man is an old man. TobyMac is old, and he's giving it his all, bro. Functify, as he says right at the beginning of the song. Like, come on, man. Everything about this track works. The next 4 tracks on the album that follow, Move, Love Broke Through, Beyond Me, and Love Feels Like, are all really good tracks, but the one that I really want to shout out is Love Broke Through, which became a hit. This song is incredible. Incredible. It has to be one of the best songs to make it to Christian radio. Like, actually, like, it's like a truly, like, amazing song. Absolutely powerful hook. Incredible hook. So much energy. Once again, like I said, you got those backing vocals, and this is going to have like a little bit of gospel influence. And these lyrics, while being kind of generic, like of course it's very mainstream Christian contemporary music. Like, TobyMac is massive. He's huge. But I do feel like he kind of does do what he wants to do. I feel like he did his thing on this track, and talking about the story of how he became a Christian. And like, once again, in kind of like the most generic language possible, in a way to make it relatable. I usually have an issue with that, but with this track, it just sounds so freaking good that I can't really, like, you know, discredit it that much. And the lyrics, I think, are really solid also. It's just a really, like, powerful, like giant sounding track that I'm just so glad this became a hit. Like, it's pretty amazing to hear something this good on Christian radio. I think it's very obvious from this review that I'm a big fan of this album. I wasn't expecting... this is another TobyMac album, like the other ones I've reviewed so far, Tonight and Eye on It. I will link those in the description. That I wasn't really expecting to love it coming back to it, but I was shocked at how good these tracks are. Like, they're good. The songs on this album are good. The one with DC Talk, that's really good. Like, come on, man. Like, it's a really good album. I'm giving it 4 stars out of 5. Isn't that crazy? I've given 4 out of 5 reviews to a Christian contemporary music artist, like an extremely mainstream, popular Christian contemporary music artist, when arguably Christian contemporary music is one of the worst genres ever. Like, it's such a horrible genre of music, and yet these 3 TobyMac albums from the 2010s are just so freaking good. Like, legitimately. I don't know how these are going to age like 10, 20 years from now. I think Eye on It already feels like a very aged album. I think Tonight, in a couple ways, feels aged. I'm sure this is already aging, especially songs like, you know, Till the Day I Die, and like the title track, which I actually like the title track. But I don't know. I don't know how this is going to look, 20 years from now or 10 years from today. I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Anyway, thanks for watching the review. Let me know what you think about TobyMac. What's your favorite TobyMac album? What's one of your favorite TobyMac songs? Do you like this album? Let me know, and have a great rest of your day.